Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing? Chinenye here. Welcome back to our channel. Today, I am at my workplace. I am here to get my COVID vaccine, one of two. So I get my first shot today. They will go into my deltoid muscle. I usually prefer getting my vaccination shots on my left hand, which is my non-dominant hand, because I know that it will feel a little sore. If it's anything compared to the previous vaccine that I've had in the past, I usually feel a little sore. I feel a little sick, but not too sick, okay? Like I can tell my body is trying to just get used to this foreign body. And my body will try to, that's how vaccine is supposed to work. You're meant to feel a little sick, slightly feverish, but not too sick. So I'm anticipating that. So I want to use this hand that I'm not going to be using all throughout the day. My hand is useful to me, to be honest with you. Everybody's hand is useful to them, but I want to make sure that it's not given to me on my dominant hand. So we're getting the first of the two vaccines today. I told some of my co-workers that I was going to get it because we're talking amongst each other, right? Some of my co-workers, which my background is nursing, so we were discussing, getting the vaccine versus not getting the vaccine. Funny enough, a lot of my co-workers, it's not so funny, but a lot of my co-workers were telling me they will not get it. They will wait at least a year or so. And the argument for not getting the vaccine, to me, is not valid. But I do respect their choice. We all have the choice as to what goes into our body. Okay? Everybody should have that choice of what goes into their body versus not. Now, my work they are not making it mandatory. What they do make mandatory is the flu vaccine. You must get the flu vaccine. If you're not getting the flu vaccine, you have to have a written statement by your physician as to why you choose not to get it. But the COVID vaccine at my workplace is not mandatory, but it is available, and they will tell you, hey, especially those of us who are working with COVID patients day in, day out. So yes, I am getting the vaccine. I wanted to be with the second tier of people who got it. I wasn't going to be the first. I'm just not always the first, okay? It was just for me, for my peace of mind. It was best that I just waited for the first set of people to get it. So then I signed up to be part of the second set of people who are going to get it. So I am here to get the vaccination. A lot of people said they're injecting live virus into you. All you have to do whenever anything concerns your health is important for you to be your own best advocate, for you to be your own best researcher. You can go into the CDC website. It will tell you exactly what component is in the vaccine. This particular vaccine has the mRNA, which is like the messenger RNA. It kind of tells your body exactly what, and it helps code for protein, right? It introduces the vaccine to your body so that your body knows what to fight, and how to keep your body safer if you do end up getting the COVID. Hopefully you don't, but we have this saying in Igbo land that that means that if God is helping you, you should also be at the forefront of things, helping yourself. So this is just me trying to help myself. I'm getting the vaccine, and before I left home, I made sure to let my husband know, hey, I'm going to get the vaccine. Just in case if anything happens, we can relay the information that, hey, Chinenye got the vaccine today. So, we know what we're doing. But I don't anticipate any problem. The only thing I'm expecting is like a slight little fever, slight little pain at the site of injection. But that should go away by tomorrow. That has always been my experience with vaccine. Usually the flu vaccine, I react to that. Just slight fever. That's it. And that goes away. And my arm feels sore on the day that I got the vaccine. What I do not react well with is the TB. TB is not the vaccine, is the TB test. The TB test, the one that is given to you right underneath your skin. That one, the last time I had it, my arm was like so swollen because back in Nigeria, we got what we thought was the vaccine against TB, which essentially is not. We came to find out that it wasn't an actual vaccine against TB. So whenever I get the TB test, I always react terribly to it. So now what I do is just have the chest x-ray. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I will tell you guys how the vaccination went. I'm excited to get it. God has protected me since this vaccine, not the vaccine, since the disease broke out, since COVID. God has really been protecting me. Thankfully, at my job place, we did have to ration the PPE for a while. We did have to reuse a few items for a while. But so far, thankfully, I have not gotten COVID. I take a class, and my school requires me to test for COVID ever so often. They select individual randomly to test for it, and the past tests that I've had have been negative. So I thank God. I think is really God's protection, because I do what I'm supposed to do, but again, I'm human, okay? And one thing that you are guaranteed to have with human beings is mistake. We are not machines. So few days in between all this time that I've been taking care of COVID patients, I know that I'm so certain of it that I have exposed myself unintentionally to COVID patients. But by God's grace, I'm still kicking. My family and I were still kicking. So I'm so thankful to God for that. And hopefully the protection will continue. Hopefully God's protection around my family, myself, all of you guys watching me, hopefully God's grace will continue in our lives and God's protection will continue in our lives. But in the meantime, we're going to get the vaccine, and I'll tell you guys how everything went. I still have some time. It's only 11:18 right now, if you can see my watch. But my appointment is at 12 noon. I came in here early because parking at daytime at my job is notoriously horrible. The last time I came here for an appointment, I had to circle the entire parking lot for a good 30 minutes. So I told myself I'm going to come an hour later just so I can find my spot, because I do not want to miss the vaccine. There's only a certain amount of time they keep the vaccination. So I don't want to miss it. I want to make sure I get vaccinated. And I also have an appointment to keep on January. So I go in for the second vaccination shot in January. So yeah, first of the two is today. So yeah, I had to come in early to get my vaccination. But while I wait, okay, I wanted to also chit chat with you guys. How are you guys doing? I know 2020 has been quite a lot for us, but if you're watching this, that means that you're alive. That means that God kept you alive amidst everything going on, okay? If you don't have any, we should all have reasons to be thankful. And if you don't, I'm going to give you one word, or maybe two: mortuary, okay? Mortuary, gravesite. At my job, I usually walk past, I have two, but at one of my jobs, I walk past the morgue to get to my unit. And whenever I walk past the morgue, I am always reminded there's a thin line between life and death. Those ones in there, they have no more breath. They are dead. They are not coming back. And we out here, we have lives. We live it. Even the ones in the hospital. Okay, so far as you're being taken care of, so far as you're alive, you have plenty reasons to be thankful. So I'm hoping that you guys have many reasons to be thankful. But if you don't, just be thankful for the fact that you're alive. Surviving in this 2020 is a gem on its own. I have people walking past. I have people walking by. And some of them might be my co-workers. So what I'm going to do, I'll stop the recording and then I will pick up later. I'll talk to you guys in a few. So we're all done. We're back on the road. How did it go, you ask? It went well. It was so seamless. It was effortless. I went in, I read up on the information. They give you a pamphlet and information on the COVID vaccination, and then they also give a questionnaire. And then once you're done reading everything and filling out the questionnaire, they just have you sign, and your signature is basically your consent, allowing them to inject you with the vaccine. So time-wise, about 15 minutes it took by the time I got in, fill out the information for me to get my vaccine. It was really easy. It was a very calm environment. Excuse me, I thought I had hair on my lips. Anyway, it was a very calm environment. The only issue I had, it was my issue, not with anybody vaccinating me, was, you know, I'm a chicken when it comes to needles, okay? Even though I give out needles like candies at work every day, but when it comes to that needle touching me, I'm a big old chicken. So I had to ask him, like, the nurse who was vaccinating me, I asked him, like, what gauge of needle is that? I want to make sure that it was a nice gauge needle. So the higher the number of the gauge, the less painful it becomes for you, because you will notice a smaller gauge needle, and the gauge is just basically the lumen, the size of the needle itself. The smaller gauge itself, like the 18 gauge, is one of the smallest gauge we use. I keep feeling like I have hair in my mouth. That's the problem with wearing this long wigs. Anyway, the smaller gauges, like the 18 gauge, that one really hurts, okay? I will never use an 18 gauge needle unless it is called for. If the medication calls for it, then I can use that to inject a patient. But if it doesn't, and I haven't had to use that to inject a patient directly, those ones are very painful. So you want like the smaller gauge needle. So I believe he said it was 24 gauge or 26 gauge. I hardly even felt it. I did not feel it at all. But before the needle goes into my arm, it's just the anticipation of something going into your arm. So I always look away. I never look directly at the needle. But once, you know, he injected me, I can tell there was something there, but it was not painful at all. So I got my vaccine, and then he proceeds to inform me that I have to wait at least 15 minutes after my vaccination, just to make sure that I'm not having any kind of adverse reaction post-vaccine. And if there's any adverse reaction, there is a blood pressure machine there. Vital sign machine is what we call it. And we also have a code card. A code card is meant for any cardiac or respiratory arrest. So if you stop breathing, if you stop having a pulse, basically, then, you know, we have items, equipment, and medications available to help revive you. But I don't think that thing has been touched ever since it's been there. That means that's a good thing. That means that nobody has really needed that. So waited my 15 minutes. I put my timer in. Once 15 minutes was up, I was out of there. And yeah, I'm glad that I did that. I have exactly 3 weeks from my first vaccination date to go back. So that's what, 21 days. I have to go back and get my second vaccine shot. And they also gave me a hotline to call should you start to have any kind of reaction once you're home. There's a hotline to call, and the hotline is not for medical advice or to ask them what components is in the vaccine itself. Is really for severe reaction. If you start to have any kind of severe reaction, of course the hotline is there, but there's also 911 that you can call. And they also gave me a tracking sheet to track any kind of reaction that I start to have. So yeah, it's done. It is done, and I'm so glad that I got it. I am looking forward to the next shot that I have to get, and hopefully, you know, I am covered from the disease itself with God's grace, right? We do what we're supposed to, and then the rest we leave it in God's hands. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great one. I feel like cooking today. I feel like cooking more. The problem is I don't have bitter leaf, so I have to go on a hunt for bitter leaf, good bitter leaf. if I don't wash it myself nowadays, like, I don't feel like it's good enough, and I don't have enough leaf in my garden to be washing. If I start to wash what I have in my garden right now, it's not going to be up to a pot of soup. So I have to go and look for bitter leaf, and then I'm in my thoughts, guys. Let me think about this. I might check in with you guys later, but if I don't, I hope you have a fantastic Christmas day, and I will see you guys later. Bye. Mwah.